Have you ever heard a commercial and thought, wait, is that? Well, you're not alone, and that exact question is at the heart of a major new lawsuit. The estate of the legendary Man in Black, Johnny Cash, is taking on one of the biggest companies in the world, Coca-Cola. So, grab a seat, because this story is a fascinating clash of music, marketing, and the law. It all started with a commercial in August. Coca-Cola rolled out a new ad campaign for college football season. The ad, titled "Fan Work is Thirsty Work," features all the excitement of game day fans painting their faces, tailgating, and cheering their hearts out. But it was the background music that got people talking. A deep, gravelly voice singing a country tune that sounded remarkably like Johnny Cash. Social media lit up. People were commenting, "Is that Johnny Cash singing for Coke?" The similarity was so striking that many assumed the iconic singer-esque music was officially licensed for the ad. But here's the twist. It wasn't. The Johnny Cash estate says they were never even contacted by Coca-Cola. They allege that the company hired a Johnny Cash tribute artist to deliberately mimic his one-of-a-kind voice. Now, Johnny Cash's estate, specifically the John R. Cash Revocable Trust, has filed a lawsuit in a Nashville federal court. They're accusing Coca-Cola of violating Tennessee's right of publicity law. This law is designed to protect a person's name, image, and likeness, and in this case, their voice from being used for commercial purposes without permission. The estate argues that Coca-Cola intentionally used a Soundalike to trick consumers into thinking Johnny Cash, or at least his estate, endorsed their product in their legal filing. The estate put it bluntly, despite capitalizing on the intrinsic value of Johnny Cash's legendary voice, Coca-Cola never even bothered to ask the trust for a license. They believe Coca-Cola wanted the cool factor and cultural weight of Johnny Cash's sound without paying for it. It's a classic case of trying to get the sizzle without buying the steak. This isn't the first time a celebrity has sued over a Soundalike ad. The Cash estate is actually pointing to a famous precedent from 1988 involving another legend, Bette Midler. Back then, Ford Motor Company wanted to use Midler's hit song, "Do You Want to Dance?" in a commercial. When Midler refused, Ford hired her former backup singer to imitate her voice. Midler sued and won. The court ruled that a celebrity's voice is a distinctive part of their identity, and you can't just copy it for an ad. That case set a huge precedent, establishing that a voice can be a protected, trademarkable asset. The Johnny Cash estate is leaning heavily on this Bette Midler case. They're arguing that, just like with Midler, Coca-Cola knew exactly what they were doing. They weren't just looking for any generic country singer. They were specifically trying to evoke the spirit and sound of Johnny Cash to sell soda. The lawsuit claims this creates a false impression and unfairly profits from the decades of work Cash put into building his legendary status. So what does the estate want? They're asking the court for two main things. First, they want an injunction, which is a court order that would immediately force Coca-Cola to stop running the ad. Second, they're seeking unspecified monetary damages. This could be a significant amount, considering Coca-Cola's deep pockets and the global reach of their advertising. The damages would likely be calculated based on what a license would have cost, plus additional penalties for the unauthorized use as of now. Coca-Cola hasn't issued a public response to the lawsuit. It will be interesting to see how they defend themselves. Will they argue the singer just happened to sound similar, or that the average person wouldn't actually be confused? Whatever their strategy, they're up against a powerful legal team from Loeb and Loeb, who are representing the Cash estate. This case really highlights a major issue in the entertainment and advertising industries. Where's the line between inspiration and imitation? How do you protect an artist's unique identity in a world full of tribute acts and impersonators? For the family of Johnny Cash, it's about protecting a legacy. His voice wasn't just a sound. It was a symbol of authenticity, rebellion, and the American spirit. And they argue that legacy isn't for sale at least. Not without their permission. We'll be keeping a close eye on this case as it develops. It can have major implications for how brands use Soundalikes in the future, and further strengthen the rights of artists to control their own unique vocal styles. What do you think? Was Coca-Cola out of line, or is this just part of the advertising game? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to stay updated on stories like this, be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching!